Hey, what's going on, guys? If you're new around here, my name is Scott or Zephr. If you're not, welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm showing off my new anti-meta team that has a bit of the old, a bit of the new, and a bit of the staples from throughout all of the regulations we've played so far in Scarlet and Violet. So without further ado, let's get into the team breakdown. Okay, so first up on this list, it requires no introduction, is Flutter Mane. It's pretty much on every Pokemon team that I make or anybody else's teams that they make. It never really leaves the meta. It might come off some teams as a niche, but it doesn't really come off any of mine. It's just so goddamn strong, guys. It can be ran in so many ways. It's got so many EV spreads to live certain attacks, be able to deal damage. It's just so good. So this is my choice specs Flutter Mane that I ran in my last video where I featured Slitherwing. This has Photosynthesis to boost speed, so Sun is doing the absolute rounds in this meta game right now. Torkoal primarily, but you've got things like Thunderous and Tornadus to set up Sunny Day for things like Chien. So this thing can outspeed most things in situations and hit Moonblasts, Thunderbolts, Shadow Balls, Dazzling Gleams that are hitting like literal trucks. It can take KOs on its own. It's just threatening altogether. There's very minimum things that do threaten it. Don't get me wrong, like Heavy Slam from, say, Goodra does threaten it very much, but it just hits so hard, like you're willing to take the 2 Pokemon for 1 spread that it sometimes comes with if it means you're in a much better forward standing than your opponent. Like, I don't really have anything else to say on it. Flutter Mane is goated. It's one of the best Pokemon in this entire format. It might even be one of the best Pokemon ever created, honestly. It's just so meta defining, and yeah, Flutter Mane is here for valid reason. Next up on this list is Gholdengo. So this is Justin Knox's Gholdengo. I used it in the past video with Iron Moth. Really strong team. Really recommend if you haven't seen that video to check that out. It has its own niche. It's really good. Took it to top 100 on the ladder. This is probably one of my most favorable Gholdengos. Leftovers allows it to stay around. You can hit those nasty plots and hit ridiculously overpowered Make It Rains on pretty much anything in the format. There is very little that takes to Make It Rain very well. Even Torkoal in my video on that team got absolutely annihilated by my Gholdengo, which just really, from the types, shouldn't happen. It's the Water Terror, because I always think defensive terrors are much better than aggressive terrors. Gholdengo being able to live and get a nasty plot off and then Make It Rain the next turn after, or Shadow Ball, whatever you need to do, could be the make or break of your game. Protect, Make It Rain, Shadow Ball, that's the move set. Leftovers are said because it gives Gholdengo recoverability, especially with Rillaboom being everywhere in the format as well. You're essentially getting double heals at the end of every single turn, which is actually ridiculous when you're outputting as much damage as Gholdengo can do. It can't be paralyzed, slept, etc. through normal means because of good as gold. Gholdengo is just an S tier Pokemon. It has been since the game came out. It's seen tons of play, but I think it is a really big meta call in this current format, and I think you will see a lot of it. So yeah, Gholdengo. Okay, so next up on the list is actually a Pokemon I've seen a little bit of play with from other people, but I've started using myself, and I think it really fits into this team, is Zapdos. Kanto. Zapdos is just really, really good in the current metagame, I find. So it's got static, so, you know, if you get hit with an Urshifu Rapid Strike, every single hit is a chance for it to get paralyzed, which is actually huge when you think about how much of a difference that can make in game. Urshifu is a massive problem in the format right now. Everybody is using it or has many counters to it because it's such a problem. Static is really good for that. It's also really good for other things like Arcanine, Hisuian Arcanine, Landorus. You get the chance to static all those things. Landorus obviously would need to Terra, but once again, it's still a chance. You're seeing a ton of Water Terra Landorus running around, which is once again where Zapdos comes in. So Zapdos, it actually lines up really well as a special attacker in this format. You've got like Among Us, you've got Urshifu, as I already said, you've got Tornadus, you've got Thunderous, you've got what's another water type, Gyarados, you've got Rain teams, you've got so many things that Zapdos can hit hard with Thunderbolt, and it actually really, really bulky. Like, I think people underestimate how many hits a Zapdos can take. Like, the way my Zapdos is built, it can take 3 Rock Slides from a 196 Adamant Landorus T, I'm pretty sure, which is actually ridiculous. A little bit different on ice attacks, but it is a really bulky Pokemon, and it is really, really good. I'm finding myself enjoying it so much in this format, guys. I cannot stress it enough. I think it's such a sleeper pick, and I think people are underestimating it a bit. You've got Hurricane, which can actually just deal with Among Us straight up, very much similar to the Terraflying Dragonite that saw a lot of play in the previous regulation. So Thunderbolt is a huge stab move, Hurricane is a huge stab move. You also get that confusion chance on other Pokemon and those Pokemon themselves, which can save your game almost instantaneously as well. Confusion can mean that your opponent can miss a really important move on a turn, and that can open the opportunity for you to win the game, which is insane. Tailwind, which is another reason I'm using Zapdos. I wanted speed control in this team, but I couldn't find anything else that really fitted into the team and filled the role I needed. Tornadus is great. Yeah, everybody is using it. It's fantastic. It's probably the best Tailwind setup. But, like, I don't have enough stuff on my team to counter, say, like, Urshifu or Among Us or just those things in general. You know, Rillaboom is another thing that Zapdos hits for huge damage. Zapdos really slots in here, and I cannot stress that enough. And then Rain Dance, because in doing that, you can lower the damage output to things like Gholdengo, Rillaboom. Obviously, I know that boosts things like Urshifu, but most of my team, as you can see, is Terra Water, so you can actually kind of alleviate that a slight bit with that, which is a bit of a crutchy kind of thing, but I feel like Water Terror is really good in the current format for the same reason I'm saying a lot of things. Urshifu Rapid Strike. So yeah, Rain Dance also allows you to hit Hurricanes 100% of the time, which is huge for Zapdos. You're not relying on RNG. And yeah, I just think that moveset is really, really good. It's a bulkier Zapdos, and then we're using Citrus Berry, so when Zapdos gets down to that like half, just under HP mark, it can get a boost and it can take even more hits. So yeah, I think Zapdos is a really big sleeper pick Pokemon right now. I expect people to playtest it a bit more and find it like slotting into their teams a bit more, and you might see a fair bit more of it. Water Terror, as said, because Zapdos gets hit with Rapid Strike, then you can kind of alleviate a lot of that damage. And yeah, I just think Zapdos is really, really good. I can't stress it enough. So a Pokemon that's made it back onto my list here is Gyarados, and I think that's for good reason. Gyarados started seeing tons of play at the end of Reg C because it filled the Intimidate role that Arcanine needed to, but lined up really good into the metagame. I think it still does the exact same thing here, but better, primarily. Rocky Helmet is great for switching into Urshifu Rapid Strikes or other physical Pokemon, so they can take 15% damage. You can chip away at those Pokemon really, really well. Gyarados also doesn't really care about taking hits from Urshifu Rapid Strike, so it's dealing more damage just sitting there and being hit on a switch in than it is taking, which is crazy if you think about it. Intimidate is always valuable. It's so, so good. And Gyarados is a great support Pokemon, and it can hit hard. Waterfall, its main form of stab, does a decent amount of chunk of damage to a lot of the metagame right now. There's loads of fire types and ground types running around. There has been since Regulation C. This Pokemon does super well, and that was the reason it kind of came into the format more so there. Waterfall also has a 30% flinch chance, and funnily enough, I won a game with Gyarados the other day against a full health Heatran by Thunder Waving it and Waterfalling it consistently, and it just couldn't do anything because it would either get Power Haxed or flinch, and that just goes to show the power of it if, like, I can't explain that to you enough. Taunt, because I didn't have a Taunter on this team, and I want one to be able to deal with other like support Pokemon like Tornadus, Thundurus, that sort of thing. Thunder Wave is valuable always. It is probably the most consistent move to cause your opponent issues. I was trying to think of a word for that, but that's just gonna have to do. I don't want to have to run it on, say, like Zapdos, and Gyarados can have it and can sit there and can take hits and just cause issues through that, as well as being an Intimidator and taking hits from the Pokemon that's seen the most use in the format. And yeah, it's just self-explanatory. This has Gentle's palette on it, the EV palette. Shout out Gentle. He makes incredible spreads with his group of friends. I'm really glad I get to call him one of my friends. And yeah, his Gyarados spread is a lot better than the one that was being used. I personally think it's great. Protect, because Protect is important. And then Steel Terror, because it's going to mitigate damage if you need to Terrastallize Gyarados in front of, say, like a Flutter Mane or such. But to be fair, this Gyarados takes those hits pretty well, unless it's like choice specs, and you'll see it live at least 2 or 3 hits most of the time while it's on the field. So yeah, I think Gyarados is great. It slots into most teams, as well as Arcanine did, but Arcanine served a different purpose, and I'm glad to have it back on my team. Okay, so now we have a Pokemon that I think is underrated, very, very much so. We have Hisui and Arcanine. This thing really gets let down by its typing, because it gets hit 4 times weak by ground, and it has a lot of weaknesses. Water, yeah, it's not fantastic in terms of that, really. But what it does do is it provides immense value, and I think that's a fair trade-out for what you're getting for what's being taken away, essentially. Its typing sucks defensively, don't get me wrong, but what it provides you offensively is incredible. You get Stab Rock Slide, you get Stab Flare Blitz, you get Intimidate like you did before. You've got the extreme speeds. It's incredible. Honestly, I can't stress how good Hisui and Arcanine is enough. The base stat total for this gets 5 more HP and 5 more attack, and it drops 5 off its special attack, which nobody cares about because nobody uses Arcanine as a special attacker, and 5 off its speed, which isn't terrible. sucks in certain situations, but is workaroundable. As I said, the main thing that sucks for this Pokemon is typing, and that's why we've given it the Water Terror, because, you know, if you're going to get hit with a ground move or a water move, then you can mitigate most of that damage. As I say all the time, I think Defensive Terror is much better than Offensive Terror. I think Offensive Terror is good on a Pokemon like Fluttermane that can output as much damage and be the first thing to move on the field and can kill things almost instantaneously. But for Arcanine, that can provide value in flinching and big amounts of damage, and the Intimidate, you kind of want it to be defensively driven so that it stays around longer. So you've got Rock Slide, which is actually stab with this Arcanine and provides a good chunk of damage into the majority of the metagame, as well as providing you with flinch chances, which I think is very valuable in itself. Extreme Speed, so you get that priority if you want to take a KO on something and you know it's got no Protect, then your opponent, you'll either have to switch or will have to take that KO. Flare Blitz, which is really, really strong in this Arcanine, it's insane, and you also get that chance to burn, and then Protect, once again, because Protect is pretty much substandard in VGC. This Arcanine has a crazy EV palette. I'd recommend looking at it in the description on the Pokepaste. It's bulky, it's got some attack, it's got some speed, it's got a bit of everything. But yeah, I think this Pokemon is incredibly underrated. I think when people figure it out, you will see a lot more of it. I expect to see some of it at Worlds, and I think it's great. I think this is the best version of Arcanine, if I'm honest. And lastly on this list is a Pokemon that requires no introduction in Regulation C. It's Rillaboom. This Pokemon has been about since Regulation D started, and even before that when people were theory crafting and team building. It provides so much kit, so much utility. It hits like a truck. It's so good at what it needs to do. It's crazy. It's hard to replace it. I've tried replacing it. I just think it's too good, honestly, which is funny because they nerfed it coming into this game and we've actually made it better. So it gets Fake Out, which requires no say-so if you're a VGC player. If you're not, Fake Out goes first every single turn, cause your opponent to flinch if they're not running Covert Cloak. Insane value on any Pokemon. U-Turn, which means it can actually hit grass types for super effective damage. I'm looking at Terra Grass Heatran, which has been really, really prevalent in this format, as well as other Rillabooms, as well as other grass types that are in the format. And then it also allows Rillaboom to switch out and bring in something else that can either intimidate or hit whatever it needs to for super effective damage. Stomping Tantrum, so there's a bit of a split shift here where some people use Knockoff, some people use Stomping Tantrum. Knockoff is primarily for like Hisui and Goodra leftovers, or for Among Us Rocky Helmet or stuff like that. I don't have any ground on my team, so I find that I actually need Stomping Tantrum more than I need Knockoff. Because I need to be able to deal with, say, my opponent's got Heatran, I can hit it for 4 times damage. If they've got Hisui and Arcanine and they don't Terror it, I can hit it for 4 times damage. And amongst that, Steel types as well, you know, like Hisui and Goodra, for instance. And Stomping Tantrum is a great move, especially in this game. It's seen a lot of play because if it doesn't hit the first move that goes before, or you hit into a Protect, it gets double damage, which has been crazy for some of these Pokemon and some of these battles. Stomping Tantrum is a great move. And then Wood Hammer, because it's the main grass move that every Rillaboom is running, because it hits for 100 base damage, hits Fluttermane pretty much down to 0 most of the time, as well as other water types. Takes a considerable amount of damage in doing that, but you've got Grassy Surge, so you can recover some of that HP over time as well. And we've got the Assault Vest. Rillaboom is primarily seen running the Assault Vest right now because it wants to be able to sit there and take hits from, say, Fluttermane, Dengo, all those sorts of things in the format right now. With Assault Vest and good bulk, it can do that, and it can also output more damage than they're doing to it. I've also got the Fire Terror, because then your opponent's going to want to pull something out that's ground or water in response to try and take out your Rillaboom. And then nothing's really going to want to do that in front of a Rillaboom that has Wood Hammer and can deal with it pretty much instantaneously. And also then if a Fluttermane goes to hit a Moonblast and you really, really need your Rillaboom to stay up, you can keep it up that way with not very effective Fire Terror. Grassy Surge provides immense value as it is, as well as healing most of your Pokemon. If you're playing Indeedee Armorogue and you see Indeedee Armorogue hit the field and Rillaboom's not there at the beginning of the game, you can switch Rillaboom in and take away that double expanding force. Psychic Terrain has been a problem primarily for that team variant in itself, and this just allows you another way to deal with that, because this team doesn't have a lot going into Armorogue and DD especially. So Rillaboom provides immense value there. It provides value for your team in healing, and it can hit like a truck. So I just think it's a really, really great Pokemon. Yeah. And that is going to round out the team breakdown. So I really hope some of you use this team. I've had fun building this. I've had fun playing this. I've climbed it to high on the ladder, as you'll see in 2 of the games we play on this video. It's a great team. I think, as I said, Hisui and Arcanine and Zapdos especially are super underrated here. But I think this team lines up really well into what we're seeing mainly from the metagame as of current. And I'd really like to hear your feedback. I also really like all of the Pokemon on this team, so it's super cool to be able to use a lot of my favorite, so to speak, Pokemon. Not my personal favorites, but favorite in the VGC scene, let's say. Yeah, the code's in the corner. I hope you guys, as I said already, try it out. I really, really like this team, and I'd love to hear your feedback. It'll also be in the description with the PokePay, so you can see the exact stats of all these Pokemon, how they're being ran for calcs and stuff like that. And yeah, that's really about it. So if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like. It's the main form of support that I really appreciate. It boosts the algorithm. It really helps me out. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're so close to hitting 600 subs, which is insane because it feels like only a couple of videos ago I was saying we're close to hitting 500. I really appreciate all the support from you guys. It's been incredible, and I love you all. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the team, what could be changed if you've used the team. Leave me your personal opinions and stuff. I really love reading that stuff and talking to you guys. It really, really brightens my day to see you guys enjoying it and giving constructive criticism or feedback, because that's what all of this is about. Pokemon's really about everyone's input, and it's such a huge thing for the scene. I love it. It's something I really enjoy in the Pokemon YouTube and streaming scene. So yeah, and then there's the bingo screen looking at you, Barrett. And besides that, yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate everything you guys do, and I will see you in the next video. Peace. I just realised I didn't get to change my music to the Ruinous Quartlet, Heatran, and Zapdos. Okay, that's really good. That's very good for me. So this turn, I'm actually going to go... I want a Tailwind, but I also want to get Rain Dance down. Rain Dance is very strong here, besides Urshifu. So I actually think I hit Tailwind this turn, and I... No, maybe I don't fake out here. Maybe I just go straight in for the Stomping Tantrum into the Heatran. Go Terra Fire. I don't think that's a bad plan. Depends if this Heatran goes grass or not. I don't think he expects me to have Stomping Tantrum, right? No, he doesn't Terra from the looks of it either, so... Tailwind gives us straight advantage. Fire Terra Heatran here lines up Heatran. Rillaboom. Lines up really well into most of my opponent's team. So, maybe not Urshifu Rapid, but... Oh, you whiff the Hurricane as well, that sucks for you. I think you lose your Heatran this turn because of that. I don't even think he gets an attack off here. Zapdos being the premier Tailwind setup. How much damage is doing? Goodbye, Heatran. No, he lives. Heat Wave. That sucks. Oh, it's leftovers Heatran as well. Okay, so it's not Life Orb, so it's not dealing as much damage. I mean, we outspeed now anyway, so this is fine. And we're going to get the Rain Dance down here. And to be honest, I would... I want to Stomping Tantrum, but then I also do reckon that you go into... So if I go into... I can go into Flutter Mane pretty much for free here and just start spamming damage. And then if you do Terra Heatran, then I can just get a Dazzling Gleam down and start doing Omega damage. So this is a good turn overall. Rain Dance is going to allow me to hit Hurricanes here as well. And it's also going to nullify this Heatran's damage. So Zapdos is actually OP. People underestimate Zapdos in this game. Goodbye, Zapdos. You're not even going to get the Tailwind down. That sucks. What is that? Lando. Okay, that's fine. I'm actually okay with that. That sucks. That does suck. However, this is good at least, so... I think here, the best play, already brainstorming my next turn, is to pretty much just hit Hurricane into Heatran. Heatran can't really do a lot here. We can go into... We can U-turn with Rillaboom into Gyarados to get an Intimidate down and threaten the Lando and the Heatran. And U-turn is super effective no matter what. So I think this, just double up here, is the best play I have. Yeah, withdraw your Heatran. Do it. What's coming out instead, though? Is that Zapdos? Oh, Zapdos isn't going to like a Hurricane still. It's going to be bulky with Mind Spoken, surely, right? Yeah, it's not a lot of damage. Confusion? Yes, huge. We've got Lando, Heatran, Zapdos. This is actually Pog. I'm actually very happy with this. I would have brought... Static sucks, but then I'm running Static, so I can't really complain about that. Rocky Helmet, Zapdos. Okay. Oh, that was the wrong one. I didn't mean to bring Gyarados in. That sucks. But it's confused, so it's actually okay. Intimidate. And we still have Tailwind here as well. Rock Slide, misses. Zapdos, that's huge. Gyarados didn't like that still. I mean, we still outspeed anyway, so it really doesn't matter. And then I'm just going to go for a T-Bolt into this Zapdos and Waterfall into this Lando. Because, to be honest, all my Gary... I don't want to see Urshifu, right? But as long as I have Zap, I'm fine. So, yes. I think with the Rain Boost, we might actually be able to take out this Lando T. I'm assuming that this is going to be Lando Terrorin, right? Yeah, okay. Water. Okay, well, now you get threatened huge by Zapdos, so that's kind of an L on your side. Zapdos might be about to clean up this game, you know? It's still going to do decent damage. Yeah, that's half, not half, but 25% though, so... Oh, that is big. Do we get a confusion here? No. Okay, we lose Gary here. But this is fine, right? I'm actually super okay with this. Because now I can bring Flutter Mane out for free. We take out the Zapdos. Rock Slide single target's going to hurt. Zapdos takes that though. Citrus Berry pops. The Intimidate really did help us there as well. That's going to go back up to 115, so that's huge. I can just bring this Mudder Trucker in. And just Dazzling Gleam, really. Like, there's nothing on my opponent's side of the field that's going to want to come into that either. So, right now, are we still under Tailwind? Do we still have one turn of Tailwind? No, we don't. Okay, right. So, Tailwind here and Dazzling Gleam. I could lock in the Thunderbolt, but I want to take out the Zapdos or do damage to whatever comes in instead. Choice Specs, Flutter, go Burr. I didn't mean to bring my Gyarados out, so I kind of sacrificed him there. I kind of just clicked my buttons too quickly. What's coming in that slot? Show me. Heatran. That's fine. Heatran's not going to care too much about this. Zapdos goes down here, which is huge. And we get Tailwind back up, so that's a mega for us. That's gravy, baby. Heatran's not going to appreciate being in the rain either. If you've got Urshifu last now, it just dies to a Dazzling Gleam Thunderbolt. Like, yeah, I'm in, like, prime position right now. Flutter Mane. Okay, that's fine. Actually super okay with this. Is it Speed Flutter? Special attack. Okay, we just double down into the Flutter Mane here for sure. I don't wanna get Zap Cannon though. That kind of sucks big time. But no, I think I can survive that, to be honest. Like, no. I don't know, this is a bit scary this turn. I'm going to bring my Rillaboom back out because he threatens this Heatran who can't Terrastalize anymore, so... And if we launch this Hurricane in here, then we can get a confusion down potentially, which is huge. Okay, that's the safe play. Good choice, good choice. Does Heatran Flash Cannon here? Yeah, Heavy Slam. Okay, that does nothing. So that was the correct play to make. I'm glad I assessed that before I did it. I feel like I launched a Thunderbolt off here. Not raining anymore, is it? No. How much value is Rain Dance giving me here? I'm kind of just thinking about sending for the Heatran here, but I think the Heatran protects. So I think I just double into this Flutter Mane this turn, for sure. Yes. Oh, we get the Lando out anyway. Okay, that's fine. I can bring that Lando to the field, then I am A-okay. Lando's a bit more of a concern right now because it's got Rock Slide and it can double down into both my Mon here. But can we just OHKO this Flutter Mane? That's the question. Does this would oh, right, Moonblast goes first. Zapdos does not take that. That sucks. But Wood Hammer, and we still have Tailwind, so it's okay. Wood Hammer does the job. Right, now we have to take out this Heatran. I'm not really scared of the Lando, I can't lie, but he can always protect his Heatran, so that's the concern. If he protects his Heatran, however, though, he gives my Stomping Tantrum a boost. So I actually think doubling into the Heatran this turn is a good play. I'm going to lock in Dazzling Gleam. No, not Dazzling Gleam. Shadow Ball here, because I think that's just the more offensive. Oh, do I? Do I? No. Stab, lowest special defense, Thunderbolt, super effective. I kind of want to fire off the Thunderbolt into the Lando here, and I want to Stomping Tantrum into this Heatran. Because I think Rillaboom can just win a 1v1 with the Heatran, you know? That is more than enough. Holy. Thunderbolt was the correct lock there. So, you see, even if he takes out my Flutter Mane now, I think we just win on the Stomping Tantrum anyway. Cool, that is it. That is the game. Heavy Slam, that should take the Oko for sure. Oh my god, we live! The calc! Gyarados could have played such a better part in this game, and I kind of just sacrificed him because I clicked. But Zapdos got a hell of a good screen time here. I'm very pleased with that. Zapdos deserves more screen time. Zapdos is a very good Pokemon. Tailwind. Are we really going for the leftovers, grassy terrain, like, still here? It seems a bit irrelevant, but that's it now. Like, Thunderbolt just does the job on its own, I'm pretty sure. Like, do you expect Thunderbolt to do it? Yeah, of course it does. But, I mean, OP. You can't have a Regulation D team without Flutter Mane. Otherwise, you're just throwing. GG's Aldo. No Cresselia is a bold move. Cresselia is always with Ursaluna. Ah, okay. This is perfect. I'm okay with this. I feel like I Moonblast here into this Indeedee. And I Terra Water Nasty Plot here. And the reason for that is... I don't want to... Arcanine needs the Terra. Rillaboom. Lots of my mon need the Terra here. But I feel like Dengo needs it a bit more. If Dengo can get this Nasty Plot... No. We don't want to do this. We want to go Rillaboom. Because we want to get rid of this Psychic Terrain to start with. Psychic Terrain is horrible. And this lets us Fake Out as well next turn, so... This is why Rillaboom is so good. Not only is it a great offensive Pokemon, it's got Fake Out, it's bulky, but... Ah, there we go. Lovely. That's huge. Just like that, we have Chaos. And then Indeedee still Trick Rooms. Okay, that's fine. But we can just Fake Out this turn now, so this is huge. So... Trick Room sucks. I can't unlock from Moonblast now either. I feel like I have to just lose Flutter Mane here, unfortunately. And I want to Fake Out, but I just don't think it's as good a move. I feel like U-turn is better, but I feel like Fake Out doesn't even work because of Indeedee. Unless we Fake Out it. No. Hold up. Swap into Dengo, and we go Terra Fire, Fake Out, Indeedee. We're stalling out Trick Room terms here, is the idea. And if you Armor Cannon into my Rillaboom to get rid of it, then one, it's going to do very much nothing now, and two, you're going to take a defense and a special defense drop, and I'm going to be able to benefit from that with Stomping Tantrum or U-turn. So this is a really good use of Terra here. Helping Hand, that sucks because that's got higher priority than Fake Out. Heat Wave. Dengo misses as well, that's actually huge. The fact that Dengo's managed to walk away from that is actually massive. So if we Protect now, and we go Stomping Tantrum into this Armourouge, because you're just going to want a Helping Hand again, right? Yeah, you're just going to go for the exact same Heat Wave play. This is fine. Helping Hand has has higher priority than Protect. That's actually insane. So we're just going to keep spamming this, and this is okay, right? And this time we're going to get the Stomping Tantrum down. That's going to do a decent amount of chunk. I very much predict you to Terra Grass here, though, so I'm actually going to U-turn into this, I think. Show me the Terra Grass Armourouge here. That'd be an Omega huge read. Hisuian Arcanine just looks so badass. No, we're just gonna keep spamming Heat Wave, I guess. You've now got two Pokemon on this side of the field that really do not care about that. A crit. That was a very nice crit, may I say. Now I can reposition Dengo back onto the field safely. And he's not taken the Heat Wave. Because I want Dengo here. Like, I want Dengo up on the forefront right now. Rock Slide is actually massive here. And how many turns are left on Trick Room here? This is the last turn of Trick Room. I'm just going to Protect again. Yeah. Because next turn you're going to want a Trick Room. But we can probably take Indeedee out before it gets the Trick Room down, to be honest, if we hit the Rock Slide this turn. I won't be surprised to see Heat Wave and whatever this turn. Expanding Force. I don't think Arc really cares about that. Oh my god, that was a lot of damage, actually. Nice 13 damage there. That's going to KO our Mose all day. Diddy's below half now. And now Trick Room is gone also. So this is huge. If you've got Ursaluna out back, it's really not going to like seeing that. Lilligant. So I actually presume then that we have Torkoal out back rather than that. This is just full Heat Wave, right? So do I want to break the Sash here? Not particularly. Like, I don't feel inclined to care about that. I feel like I can just hit Make It Rain and Shadow Ball. Make It Rain. Do I do that? Or do I... Yeah, I feel like I have to guarantee the KO on the Indeedee here, right? Like, I don't want to see this Indeedee stay up. But, no. We're going to go double spread here. Because I want to chip the Sash off and I want to deal with both these Pokemons. That's going to suck. Now, I didn't even think about that. That was just huge error on my part. Now it comes down to this Make It Rain actually, like, KOing this Indeedee right now. Which is not potential. I have to be realistic. Yeah, that sucks. Because now we've got Torkoal, and yeah, I don't want to see Torkoal, personally. Like, it's not something I'm really, like, yeah, this sucks. However, it means that everything on the opposing side of the field just isn't great here. So, this is the correct play here. Bring Fluttermane out. Nasty plot Gholdengo. Dazzling Gleam into both of these Pokemon. And then Fluttermane goes down, potentially. Do I need to KO both these Mon now? I feel like I do. I do need to KO both these Pokemon now, yes. Follow Me is huge. Lilligant Leaf Blade. Dengo's slowest? Okay. That's actually huge for me. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think that this Trick Room actually gave me speed priority. Now we just get the double KO. And now I expect to see Torkoal, which will suck. Right, so how many turns is there? 2 or 3? I think there's 2. This is speed. 3. Okay, right. I don't know what my play here is right now. I have to Dazzling Gleam. I want to Nasty Plot, but he's going to Eruption. Right, I Protect, then I Fake Out, then I Protect. Yes, this wins me the game. Right, this is where this has been perfect for me. Because there's no way it's Cobalt Cloak, Torkoal. Terrifier, Torkoal. See, I don't think this matters. See, I actually want this to happen so I can bring in Rillaboom so I can get a Nasty Plot off. Guarantees that we go back up to normal damage, I think. And Rillaboom's going to get a turn of recovery as well and be the fire type. So once again, this benefits me again. And we've got AV. And this is not very effective. So, yeah. So, Fake Out. What is my Gholdengo at? Is it at -2? Yeah, so this Nasty Plot will reset us back up to max. Torkoal takes a little bit of damage there. But it's just going to recover it, probably. Dengo gets back up to max here. Alright, so do you know what we need to do? We need to Fake Out to fail this, and we need to Protect, because we want this Stomping Tantrum to do as much damage as possible. I just need to hope that Rillaboom can hang on through this damage here. I think it can, because it's Fire type. But we'll see what happens. Probably thinks I'm like Scarflocked or something now. No way. Oh my god, we lived that though. And that'll be thanks once again to the grassy terrain actually, funnily enough. Like, mitigating some of that ground damage. But, now because of that, see the Power Grass type moves is boosted. I'm sure it nullifies ground damage a bit. That's why people were using it for Ursaluna. And now, we should be able to get enough damage off here to make Eruption almost like, irrelevant, right? That is a huge amount of damage. I didn't think Gengo would be dealing that much damage. Oh my god, we just win because the Stomping Tantrum is double damage. Let's go. I thought my opponent was going to have to click the Eruption, but, well, would want to click the Eruption button, but I think he just thought if he can get rid of the Rillaboom, he can single target the Gholdengo, but I guess you threw in that certain aspect. I was really worried about the Indeedee Armor Rouge as well, and my team has just proven that it can beat that, so, yeah.
Saves hundreds of lives.